All right, here's my. This is another video update for my game. We're just gonna jump right into it. It might seem a little brighter in the video. I had to adjust some of the brightness settings. I've added a lot of things since my last update. One of the biggest things that I've added so far is that you can see all the enemies that are not clipping on the corners anymore. I don't know if anyone noticed that in the last video, but the enemies are clipping around the corners. So what I've added is a grid that it basically takes the room's height and width, divides it by 32 each, and creates this cell-based grid with which you can add objects to avoid. And in each of these enemy objects, they have a path variable that defines a path for them to take mathematically using some sort of A star formula. I'm not too privy to what that means, but apparently it's good for it's a formula good for pathfinding. But essentially what it does is that based on the objects that I tell it to avoid, it will check those objects when they're moving, and in the step event, it will give them a path to follow so that it doesn't collide with any of those objects. And if it does, its speed will stop and whatnot. But so far, these enemies, they basically go out of their way across the entire map, maneuvering through the different objects and whatnot in order to find me and kill me and eat my brains. Alright, another thing that I've added, let me get rid of these spawners first, because these things are relatively annoying. Alright. Let's see. There's a bit of a delay on the damage that the zombies take, and the same with the spawners as well. Let's see. Push that over there. Maybe that'll help. I guess I just gotta push forward. Yeah, these spawners have a delay on the damage they take, because otherwise, if they didn't have that delay, they would zip through the if statement for some, rapid reason, and the spawner would look like it would instantly die, which is not ideal. So, I think the spawner's got like 10 hit points or something like that. Something silly. Silly, easy, and, perfect for this game. So usually what happens when you kill all the spawners in this floor is you're supposed to kill 5 of them, and a red key card will drop, and as you can see, I'm right next to a gray gate door. That red key card is supposed to open those up. When you collide with the gray door, it would usually allow you to open that door up, and once its animation is done, that object will be gone, so you can access that area. But I removed 2 of the spawners so they don't actually show up. Or the red key card doesn't actually show up in this one. Alright, so now I got all those taken care of. You'll see this green door right here. That's a special door that I put in here that's only opened when you push this block onto this button tile. And you see it opened up right there. Yeah, those are going to have to be 1 to a room or 1 to a floor and whatnot. But yeah, you can you take that off there, and it doesn't it doesn't close the door. I might put one in that has to constantly have that on there, and have put a Boolean variable that'll check that. But for now, it's just a one-time event. All right, so these cracked walls over here, you can drop bombs, and that will destroy those. Pretty simple. It's basically like the Legend of Zelda's version. You press that with spacebar. You can drop the bombs anywhere next to it, and it'll detect it in all 4 of the cardinal directions. Let's see, what else do we got? I believe I showed the flashlight in the last episode, so nothing wrong with that. See, put a bomb right down there, blow up that door. There's a few bugs still in the system, like the heads-up display. You're supposed to only be able to carry like 100 shotgun shells, 150 bullets and 500 magazine or machine gun rounds, or whatever the terminology is for individual rounds of machine gun shells. You're only supposed to carry 500 of that, but when you pick up a magazine, sometimes it will go over that limit, and it won't reset it to 500. It won't cap it out at 500, so I had to figure that out. The flying demon, that was, the green looking bat that was flying around shooting fireballs, that has one little bug where its fireballs go through the walls. A real quick fix for that, but nothing, too crazy. And I believe there was another bug that I was encountering that I had to fix before I do too much else. I can't think of it at the moment, but it's in here, and I'll discover it eventually. Some of the things that I'm planning for this game include a bunch of puzzles. I got a spike trap floor tile that I've got planned. What's going to happen is that, every couple of seconds the spike will, pop up, and if the player is standing on it when it does that, it's going to take damage. And then it'll run through its retraction animation, and then once that animation is, once the animation goes through all of its frames and it ends, it'll return to its dormant state sprite, and then the player can walk over it. So that'll be fun. I've got a maze planned for these push blocks, where you kind of have to. Oh, that's a bit of a bug. Guess it only goes left and right. That's really not what that's supposed to do. But there's another bug. Apparently, this block will only go left and right, no matter whether you're approaching it from the top or bottom. But I plan on creating a maze of these blocks as the player has to, push around, and then I'll have a reset button so that the blocks can reset their positions to where they were originally. So that'll be good for puzzle mechanics. I've got a third enemy planned. I plan on, implementing raised bridges so that you have to find switches in the area and click that switch so that you could gain access to different parts of floors. Let's see. I've also got a big boss planned for the final floor. I think I'm only going to do 3 to 5 floors. And that boss, I've got a bit of a strategy for that boss figured out. I'm looking at, having 3 phases. The first one being where you fight the boss up to a certain point. Then he gains this, immunity shield, and you have to go destroy 4 pylons that are guarded by his minions and, appendages of his probably. And once you destroy all 4 of those pylons, you'll go into the third phase, which is finally killing him off, while, extra minions are spawning or whatnot, and he's shooting things at you and trying to kill you, basically. So that's what I got planned, and once I get that done, I'm thinking about, wrapping this project up. However, with how much I've implemented, it's kind of hard to wrap this project up because there's so many different things that I could do with this, and quite frankly, I might use some of the mechanics that I've done in this game and transition to a more action-adventure type game akin to like Legend of Zelda. But who knows? I mean, I've got all the mechanics down, all the, the basic structures for a Legend of Zelda type game. It would literally just be a matter of, just spriting everything and, planning better levels out. But, yeah, that's what I got. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.